Boyd in South Bend, Indiana.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, I am a managed IT services provider. I've got 6 employees plus myself and a team of outside partners. We're doing $2 million in revenue.
Wow.
And, thank you. And I've been involved in EntreLeadership for a while. Years ago, you encouraged me in San Antonio as a young treadmill operator to level up, and I'm finding myself at a place I need to level up again. What I've got going on here is I feel caught between the intimidation of what I have to do to get to the next stage and the conviction not to abandon the disciplines and the principles that got me here, because I really need to grow this thing to sustain it and to take care of it. Our original vision has got us to a certain point. And
how are your principles in conflict with your growth plans?
Wow, that's a great question. I guess they would not be in conflict other than we're growing slowly. We're growing slowly and steadily. It's not big numbers.
Is one of your principles the reason that you're growing slowly? How slowly are you growing? If you did $2 million this year, how much are you going to do next year?
About 2.25.
Okay. You're growing 10% or more a year.
Yeah, so it took us a while to get there, but now we're starting to gain some traction, and we've had back-to-back years that we've been growing 20% a year.
Okay. That's not that slow.
No, but it took us a little while to get here, and I feel a lot of market
but you're there now. And we're not worried about how we got here. We're worried about where we're going.
Okay.
At least that was your question. Your question is, how do I move forward, right?
Yeah, but what got me here won't get me there.
I'm not arguing that. But you're growing at a rate of 20%. If you keep doing that, you're going to level up because your profit dollar amount is going to be large enough to start adding the people you need, and you can start installing things like the role clarity and the mission and vision, and starting to align everyone, moving from Pathfinder, start moving towards Trailblazer, right?
Well, we're definitely Trailblazer. The business runs fine without me, but it doesn't grow without me. So we're Trailblazer with some peak performer qualities. So what did you do to get the business to grow without you? Because right now, that's where I'm stuck. The business doesn't grow without me, even though it runs very well without me.
Ah. So does that mean you're making the sale of the new client?
It means that I'm making the sale of the new client, yes. So I have not raised up a sales leader to replace myself in that role, because it is a very complex role. It's a very complex sale, multidisciplinary, and I haven't figured out how to replace myself in that role yet.
Gotcha. Okay. First thing I would do is to break that role down into as many small parts as I could. Maximum of 10, minimum of 4.
Okay.
What is that role composed of? Okay. And then shave off part of it.
Okay.
Don't try to hand the whole thing off. You're trying to eat the elephant all at once. And you're right. What you're trying to replace you, and you're the single repository of all the knowledge, the history, the wisdom, the detail, the flow, everything, and even the tech knowledge. But you could have someone, for instance, that had the tech knowledge and you had the relationship knowledge, or vice versa. You have someone that's really good at building relationships and doesn't really understand how to turn on the computer. But listen, I'm going to bring in Boyd at this stage. They're making the sale, and I'm going to bring in Boyd, and he's going to help us with the details and showing me how to do this, showing us all how to do this. But you're not having to run the entire thing soup to nuts on the sale. By breaking the sale up into components.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. So then I'm on the right track then. So I'm just being impatient, and I need to continue to stay the course and continuing to, right now I've got people that are taking care of account management. I've got people who take care of good tech work. I've got people that take care of good service delivery that I just need to keep breaking out a piece at a time.
Let's talk about it for a minute. Because I really am intrigued by this. You're so sharp. You've got this thing running so well. And so if you're calling on a company, you're asking them to hire your company to provide IT services, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, okay. Security and IT services. So it would be either replacing an internal IT department, or nowadays it is another provider in my industry screwed up. They did something to lose the customer's trust.
Or
so
it's a fledgling company that's blowing up fast and they don't have anything.
Or whatever the case is. Yeah, that's pretty rare. Sometimes we get a brand new company, but for the most part, it is replacing internal IT departments or it is replacing an in-place
so when you go in,
all
right, let's do one where there's a triage. You go in, and the former people they've screwed up Christmas, and they bring you in to turn the lights back on, okay?
Yep.
So what is it that only you know that is that you have to make that sale, and what is it that other people know that's not special that makes that sale? There's more than one thing that makes that sale. They have to become convinced that you can straighten this stuff out and untangle the barrel of fish hooks, right?
Yes, because basically I need to work with the other business owner. I need to work with the other management team to convince them that we can undo this mess for them. And then the rest of my team can take care of actually undoing the mess.
Okay, so all you're doing is making a persuasive argument that your company is competent enough to undo the fish hooks, right?
That's correct. And also it has to be a persuasive argument enough that we can understand how the other people screwed up as well. So it's it's a lot of layers to the onion on this one.
Yeah. But the actual screw ups are technology screw ups. So someone that is not good at making the sale, you could bring in a person to do an analytics dump on the thing and say, all right, I'm going to bring in Henry, or I'm going to bring in George or Susie, and they're our CSI person. They're going to do an autopsy on this dadgum mess. And then when they report back to me, I'm going to sit down with you guys. This is you talking to the owners. I'm going to sit down with you guys and show you exactly what our company has found is wrong and what the steps are to fix it. That's the persuasive piece. But you're doing all the freaking analytics too right now, and you don't have to do that.
No, sir. I'm not doing that part. It is the persuasive piece. No.
Okay, so you're already doing what I'm talking about. You're ahead of me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. I'm just, I just know that the way things are going to sustain it and
so what,
to grow
what we're
it
saying
and
is the person that makes this,
to scale it.
The person that makes this sale has to have enough technical competence to speak the lingo describing what your people found.
They have to have a certain degree of technical competence, but they have to have a very good competence of the human train, and they have to have good business acumen, because those are the three things that got messed up when we're displacing a current provider.
Yeah, so this is someone you put in a junior role, and they walk with your arm around them for at least a year.
Okay.
It's going to take a while.
Okay.
This is not an easy hire.
No, not at all.
This is someone you're gonna have to bring them along, because even if they have good business acumen, they might not see it the same way you want it done, and they have to be able to do it the way you want it done.
Mm-hmm.
That matters. I mean, Boyd's way or the highway. This is how we do it. We've got Ramsey way of doing things that we have to teach to people who are highly competent in their technical discipline, but they're not doing it the Ramsey way, and so it's wrong. Mm-hmm. And you've got to do that with this person. Yeah, you got to bring somebody in and start working on a disciplined mentoring. That what I'm trying to do here is create at least a partial mini-me. And I still would break this down into components, because I would figure out which of the components are primitive, the first ones, the most primitive ones that I can hand off first. So as I start lengthening the guy that I'm mentoring's, I'm going to let him handle these three things after a while. Then I'm going to let him handle four things, and then I'm going to let him handle five things. And then someday he can do the whole thing. And that's the beauty of still breaking it down into components, but you're going to have to walk, and because you've got the ability to get the current owner that's got a mess, they trust you. You've got the ability to create trust, because they sense that you're confident and competent. And by the way you're looking at all this, even though you're not doing the technical analysis, your people are. So they've got to exude that confidence and competence, and to do that, they've got to have what you said, the business acumen. So I finally caught up. Took me a minute to get there, Boyd. Sorry, but you're further along than you think you are. But it's not let's say we were going to teach someone to sit beside me on the Ramsey show, our big radio show that's now a huge podcast and huge YouTube, and they had to handle the caller the way I wanted them handled. Now, you could have the technical answer in the financial world and still mistreat someone or not be bold enough and tell them the truth about their behavior. And on the Ramsey show, you've got to be able to do both. And so to train these Ramsey personalities to sit beside me as co-hosts has been a very similar thing to what you're talking about. First, we had the technical knowledge we had to make sure they got, and we've been working on that, continue to work on that. And we have to have the emotional and spiritual competence and acumen to interface with somebody that's hurting or scared and walk them through that. And so, but it's a lengthy process because there's no class you can take on this. And that's the same thing with your deal. So you're going to be great. I feel really, really good about where you are. A, you recognize what needs to happen, and B, you're gonna find a way to get through it. And we've just came up with at least 2 or 3 ideas to help you get through it. So very, very good. We appreciate you joining us, sir. Thank you very much. All right, man, I love small business people. Scratching and clawing, scrappy, get her done. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.